I don't think you really need anything more, but you want to add something. And he wants to add another complication, another Omega, a chronograph, all right? And that's what this whole video is about. Should he add it or not? I have an oddball timepiece I need help on. I'm considering adding the Omega Speedmaster reduced, reference 3539.31 Panda, also known as the Marui. And Marui means round in Japanese, and that's fitting because this is a JDM model, a Japanese domestic market only model. And why do they call it a Marui? My guess is because of the black subdials, all right? And this is actually the third Marui. We'll talk about that, but let's just finish what he has to say. I understand there to be 2,000 pieces, but this reference is with applied hour markers, the unique bracelet, and sapphire crystal, so perhaps even less than 2,000 pieces. To my understanding, Omega was commissioned to make these for a Japanese department store. Perhaps you can dig into this a little bit more. And you're absolutely right. There's one listing of this piece for sale here in Japan, and that's something they mentioned, that it's a department store model. I understand Omega has a limited edition problem, but this issuance seems pretty random and under the radar. For this particular model, this would be for Rolex prices, and I think that's what is giving him pause. So, what do you recommend? I'm attracted to cult pieces. Is this a mistake? What would you do? And that's what this video is about. What would I do? All right, so this is a reduced. It's a 39mm watch, and I like Speedmaster reduceds. They don't get the love. That's the thing. People often look at the 42mm Hesalite crystal manual wine real moonwatch as the one to have, and so the reduceds don't get a lot of respect, but I like them. And you can always wind a reduced, but you have to wind the manual wine moonwatch. And I always wonder if I get tired of that. I mean, it's like a hobby. It's fun until you have to do it. So it might be an advantage having an automatic watch, and the more compact size would fit me better, and I really like that. Now, let's talk about the aesthetics of the watch. It's a white dialed Speedmaster, which is really cool, and they're beautiful, and it makes me think of the 2020 Tokyo Olympic limited edition Speedmasters. They came out with 5 before I even found out about those watches. The white ones had sold out immediately, and I asked the person at Omega, why did they sell out? Why this one? And they said it was because it looks like the Daytona Panda, like the current one, which I don't even know if I would call that a Panda, but whatever. And so that's what they said, and I don't know if I buy that. I mean, I think it's just a good looking watch, but for whatever reason, white dialed Speedmasters are kind of cool, right? And personally, I probably would have gone with the red bezeled silver one because I thought that was a little bit more unique, but yeah, the Panda, that's what people went with. And so there's that connection there, all right? And so being a Panda, I think there's potential for it to be collectible. All right, behold, okay, we're not done talking about it. It's got an interesting bracelet. It's got a sort of a hidden clasp, and down the center links, it's got that pattern. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that, but it definitely gives it a unique look, and it's got applied hour markers, which is special. So this is actually the third watch like this, and I guess if you can call it a Marui round in Japanese because of the subdials, then it would be actually the second Marui, all right? Now, you can buy this piece, this Marui 2, here in Japan. There's one, okay? And it's going for 798,000 yen. That's $7,295. Comes with papers, no box. Just one. There's none on Chrono 24, okay? So indeed, it's a hard watch to find. In fact, if you had to buy one today, you'd have one choice, that one here in Japan. But the previous generations you can find those on Chrono 24. And the first version is the 35 10.20, and that's the cheapest of them. They don't have the black subdials, and so maybe that's not a Marui. Okay, again, I'm just assuming that they're calling it a round because of the circular black subdials, but I don't know why they called it a Marui. And then also in this group, you'll see the 3510.21, and it looks to be 3 watches there, but I think it's all the same listing, and that's going for 4,800 USD. And you can see some other versions. The most expensive of these older versions of what Roger's thinking about getting being 7,000 USD, and that one's in Britain. And I can imagine it going for kind of a high price in Britain because it's kind of special. It's different. You'll never find another one in Britain probably, and it's, you know, it's from Japan. It's got a cool backstory. You know, I can imagine somebody coming into my shop in Britain and being able to sell them on this watch. You know, low production numbers, very unique look, only in Japan. You know, will you ever see one of these in the UK on another person's wrist? Probably not. And that's why it's for seven grand. Now the question is it worth it? And that's why we're here. And what would I do? I love cult pieces. I don't know if this is a cult piece. I'm not sure if a lot of people know about this. And that's really the potential death of these special models. People just sort of forgetting about them. And that's when I think value starts to either stagnate or just go down. So let me just say this, Roger. If you love the watch, I think this is a fair price for a Panda, for something unique. Would I be speculating on this watch? No. All right, so let's just forget about the value, the speculation. We'll talk about that. But if you like this watch and you think, well, what if it doesn't increase in value? What if it actually goes down? Will I still be happy to get it because I just like it for its own sake? If the answer is yes, go for it, okay? And it's a little bit expensive. It's, you know, again, this one in Japan is a little over 7 grand. Again, is it worth it? I mean, that's a very subjective thing, but it's not completely overpriced, and it's not going for probably much more than it did with, I guess, inflation factored into it. You definitely have a great conversation piece. You'd never see that on another person's wrist. And so if you like it for its own sake and for those reasons, I totally support adding this watch. You would add another Omega, another high-end watch, something very unique, the chronograph function. And so I give it a thumbs up. Now, all that said, if we factor in value retention, whether it's going to go up in value or go down in value, whether it's smart buying, that's a different question, okay? So, like I said, I wouldn't speculate on this watch, and I just have to point to the previous Maruis, all right? And they're going for less. And in the future, unless something happens, this very well may be going for less. And here's the thing, it really depends on what Omega will do. And look, this is a popular look, the Panda look. We know it, and the dangerous thing is Omega knows it. And because they do, you can expect more to come. I mean, look, the 2020 Olympics Panda sold out. You can't find this one. I think the Alaska edition, I think that's kind of popular at the moment. That's gone up in price, I've found. And so Omega knows that. And what are they going to do? Well, like a good business, they're going to give you more of what you want. And so the future releases from Omega, that's what you have to be careful about. So there could be a Marui 2. You can expect it to be a limited edition, maybe a few more bells and whistles, or a little change here, a little change there. And that could really take the wind out of any potential value increase from this watch. Will it tank? I don't think it'll tank. So, yeah, you can speculate on Rolex watches, and if you're on the fence, I'd say go for it if it's a Rolex. You have to be a lot more careful when it comes to Omegas. And look, in the future, could something happen? A few articles about it come out, and it just goes crazy in price. I guess that's possible. I think it's unlikely. I think this is probably the highest price you're going to find this watch. And it is a little bit inflated, but if I were the seller, I would justify it because I'd say, well, buy it at the other place, which there is no other place. So I think it's a good watch. you got to ask yourself, are you willing to pay close to Rolex money for it? All right, Roger, in summary, if you like the watch for its own sake, add it. I would support you getting it. And it's a beautiful watch. I love white dialed Speedmasters, and it's a unique watch. And it is a special watch. That doesn't mean it's going to be valuable in the future, but you're never going to see this on another person's wrist. And it could bring a lot to your collection. It's an Omega, it's a chronograph. You've got another white dialed watch in the 16570, but that's all right. It's a lot more interesting than a typical 42 millimeter manual wind Speedmaster. So for that reason alone, it might be worth that small, cost. I don't want to say premium, but it might be worth it. And we're not talking crazy money. I mean, $7,000 for an Omega, it's getting into Rolex territory, but it's certainly justifiable for buying something that could bring a lot of uniqueness into your collection. All right. That's if you like the watch. Okay. So that's what you need to ask yourself. Now, if you're speculating and you think, well, this could very well be the Snoopy one of the future, prices could rise. Look, anything's possible, but you don't want to speculate on this watch. And I think the best we can do to predict the future is to look at the past and to look at its predecessors. Prices have stagnated or they've gone down. And that very likely will be the case with this watch. So buy it because you like it, not because of what the future holds. And you can expect that Omega will release more white dialed pandas in the future, probably with cool bracelets, applied indices. They're going to give us what we want. So there's going to be another white dialed Speedmaster that very likely will overshadow this watch. And so buy it with the express knowledge that it might just go down in value. And buy it because you like it. And that's the way I approach my funky pieces, the Iconaut and the Hydronaut. And I like them because I like them. And it would be nice if they go up in the future. Who knows, right? It's kind of fun, but I didn't buy them because of that. And I'm okay with them just maintaining their current value or even going down. That's not really why I bought them. So that's what you need to do. Don't speculate, just buy it because you like it. And if you're speculating, think twice. All right, guys, let Roger know what you would do. Let Roger know what you think about this watch. And we're going to actually bring this up on the next live show. All right. And Roger, if you want to jump on and talk about it or be in the chat or just catch it on the replay, that's fine. Guys, if you have this watch or if you have strong feelings about this watch, then I'm going to be talking about it Japan time, 10 a.m. on Friday. That would be on the East Coast, 9 p.m. Thursday night, on the West Coast, 6 p.m. Thursday night. And I don't know how long we'll talk about it, but we'll go into some other thoughts I have on the watch, and you can bring your opinions and put them in the chat or jump on and talk with me live about this watch, and we'll just go on a bit of a deeper dive talking about this oddball. All right, hope to see you there. Roger, thank you so much, and take care, and good luck with your decision. Let me know what you do. All right, see you next time.